Hey guys, Brad Kemp from Blue Nile Farm. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to talk about roll bar style rakes and some basic maintenance that you need to do with these things. Today I'm going to plan on baling tomorrow, and I just pulled this thing out of the weeds, and I got a flat tire. I got tines I have to change. I need to grease this thing, and I was hoping everything would work out smoothly, and it's not working out as good as I was hoping for. So basically I want to take you through the process real fast of what to do in a situation like this, and I also want to discuss at the end double hitch versus single hitch, why I like the doubles versus the single. So stay tuned, let's get to it, because this is one tool that a lot of guys just grab it and go, and sometimes it's just better to do a little bit of preventive maintenance before you get started, before you have problems in the field. So let's get to it. So currently on this double hitch, I have two different manufacturers as far as types of rakes. I have a Case up front and a 256 New Holland in back. And eventually I was going to pair them up properly, but I have what you have, and you just make it work. And for the last 5, 6, 7 years, I've just been using this roll bar, and it's been doing fine for me. And it's a good setup, so I don't care. So the biggest thing is, before I even get started with any piece of equipment, before we hit the hay fields, I check my tines. The one thing about tines is a lot of guys make a mistake is they don't sit there and replace them. I seen one guy, I swear, on the whole bar, he probably had no more than 20 tines at most, and I'm talking on the whole thing. And it's like, I don't know what you're even going out in the field for. You can't even rake any hay. So the number of tines you have are going to make a big difference. So keep up on that. Every season I have to replace maybe 10 to 15 tines per rake, and I'm fine with that. I just know that I have to do that. And a lot of times it's because of the fields are rough or something, because I cut it 4 inches. I have grass hay. I don't get it down the ground, but if you're pounding the ground with your rakes and you're cutting real low, you are going to go through a lot of tines real quick, and this is just something that you need to maintain. And each tine's anywhere about $4 to $6 a piece. So, you might put 60, $80 a year in this machine, but it's well worth the investment. So I suggest you do that. I like the rubber style tines. Some guys like pure steel. It's up to you what it takes, but most time one or both are going to break on you one way or the other. So just kind of stick with it. It really doesn't take a lot of time to do, and it's something you need to kind of maintain. Next thing you need to do is run around the grease. Going to grease everywhere with the wheels, any kind of joints that need to be greased. Get up there and grease it. It's probably one of the most neglected tools that you have as far as grease goes, is your rakes. So get up there and grease. I've had problems throughout the years where I run through fields and they get real rough, and I've had a lot of damage to my rakes in one way, shape, and form. I've lost tires. I've had this shaft actually blow out and actually pull apart. I've had different issues throughout time where just maybe a cotter pin blows out. But you need to kind of pay attention, go over this, make sure everything's in good shape. It'll save you a lot of time, because downtime costs you, and especially when you need to get out there and make hay. Raking and running right into the baling is really essential. And if you don't have backups, you're kind of screwed. So take care of it, and it'll save you a lot of aggravation in the end. Another thing, check your gearboxes. Make sure you got proper fluid in it. And if you got to change it, change it. I'm sure that this is one thing you never changed in probably many, many years. And in the off season, it's probably the best time to do it, not the day before you get in the field. But try to make sure that these things are taken care of. Get gear lube in there if that's what it takes, and get it done. Do it right. And lastly, tires. I got a flat. This thing's weather and worn, and it's an old machine. It's probably never had a tire on it. And this is the originals. I have to go get a tube in here because I don't have time to screw around. But it's just more downtime that I don't need to screw around with. And I should have done this before, weeks before, not today. But this is normal because I'm so busy with other things. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are the same way I am. So here we sit, and I'm going to have to go get a tube. It's Sunday, and hopefully I can get somebody to get this thing on first thing tomorrow, because the worst case scenario, it's not holding there at all. So not for too long anyway. And I could take a pump out there in the field if I have to, but it's something I just need to get on and make sure that we take care of this problem. All right, so that's the basic maintenance of it. Of course, if you have a double hitch, which is basically this is like an inline double hitch from New Holland, there really is not much maintenance other than a little bit of grease joints. Check your tires, make sure your hoses are there, because you do have hydraulic remotes that swing this to the left or to the right. And that's all you really need to kind of worry about, and make sure you have a decent jack. So that will take care of the entire system, and you should be good to go and get into the field and get your job done the way you should. Now, let's talk about double hitch versus single. Why would I use a double hitch versus a single? It's really for one reason: time and efficiency. I'm a one-man operation. I don't have a lot of time. Normally I have to go out there in the field myself, rake the hay, and then I have to pull it together and go out there and bale. So it's a two-step process for me every time because I do everything by myself. Secondly, if you get a thin field and you can double row everything and push rows together, for the average farmer that's not a huge operation, this is the easiest, most economical way to go. And these are a roll bar double hitch system. I have a double rotary, and it's a lot more expensive a machine. But when you look at the double hitch system, it's probably the cheapest, most economical thing. And let me break it down for you. To get a double hitch at an auction, a lot of times, or some private seller, you're going to pay anywhere from 1,000, 1,200 bucks to maybe 3,000 at most, and that would be for the double hitch itself. When you talk rakes, you can pick up a rake for $1,200 and up, a decent one. And so it all depends on your setup. Now, mine are mismatched right now, and I'm fine with that because it doesn't matter. This one here is just hooked directly to the double hitch. The other one has a tongue to it, and I like that system in the back because it gives me more mobility to move around, and it works out great. Now, let me show you the New Holland on the back end. Ideally, for me, in my opinion, having this tongue makes it a lot more maneuverable on the back end with this hitch. And I don't know how many people can actually take this front end and actually hook it up here. You're not going to be able to turn as tight. I think this gives me a lot more mobility, especially when I'm turning in the field. And that's just my opinion. I don't know what other guys do, but I can just attest for myself that this makes it a lot easier at the back end because it gives me more room. Now, the downfall is the entire length of this entire double hitch system from rake to hitch at beginning is about 30 feet. So it's a long unit when you actually operate it. But once you're in a good sized field, and even a small field, it's easier for me to swing it in and out and manipulate it to my benefit. So it works out real good for me. So that's just a real quick breakdown and overall on the double hitch with these roller bar style rakes. It's something I like to do. I like using this. It's just a go-to thing. And the best part on the economic side is if one of the rakes breaks or dies, I can always just buy one rake. My whole system is not completely shut down. Worst case scenario, I can jump down to a single rake, which has happened, and I hate it. So, like I say, it's cheaper to buy another rake than it is to go out and buy the whole system. Whereas my big rotary rake, it had a breakdown at one of the rotors. It not only was about a $4,000 repair, but the unit itself is, worth about $30,000. So they're pretty pricey. You can't find one cheap. So there's a lot more cost to it just to flip hay. My opinion on rakes, I use tethers and I do grass hay. So for me, I use a rake for one job. It's not really to dry it. It's more to just put in a row so I can grab it with the baler. So to me, the quicker I get the rows made, the quicker I can bale. Kind of a no-brainer there, but that's how it works for me. So other than that, that's all I want to cover today. I'll make another video on how I use this actually in the field, but I just wanted to cover this because this has been a topic that I wanted to cover for a long time. So thanks for watching, guys. Any questions, let me know. This is just my opinion. I just want to pass it on. Talk to you guys soon.